Hi guys, it's Uga and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing the review for Strangers on the Train by Patricia Highsmith, the author of the Telling Mr. Ripple series. The My Preferred Murder is almost ending. There are 3 reviews coming up. I hope soon, like this week, next week. Editing is taking me a few time, a couple hours to do, because I talk and then I have to cut a lot of things. Sometimes they are repetitive, so I have to cut them, so it takes a little time, but they are coming out this week, maximum next week. So Strangers on the Train, we almost all know the story. It is about 2 men who met on the train. They are strangers and they decide to swap murders. I thought that this was like they met and they have the same idea, but no, it's about one that has the idea but the other one doesn't want. He never thought that as a possibility, so he's more coercive to do that because he's obligated. Our main character is Guy, who is the man who doesn't want to murder anyone. He just is coming home to divorce his wife. They've been separated for years, but they are still married. But now he wants a divorce because he falls in love with another woman and he wants to marry her, so he was taking the divorce. And on the train he meets this guy Bruno, who has a megalomaniac mind, a very even psychopathic and even psychopathic and obsessive mind. And he always talking about murder his father, and has this idea of it will be perfect if I killed your wife because you don't like her, and you kill my father, we are strangers, it's a perfect murder. But Guy never thought about that, he never thought that Bruno would be able to do that, but when it happens, things turn a little turn, because now it was Guy's turn, and well, Guy doesn't want. This novel, the main focus, the main themes, the main subjects are obsession, stalking. Bruno is completely a stalker, basically a good person doing bad things, and how that implicates on his mental state, on his mind, on his life, the guilt. The book, it's divided in these 2 main sections that are in these 3 main sections, which is the beginning, when they met and Bruno kills Guy's wife, Guy being blackmailed by Bruno to kill Bruno's father, and then the resolution. It's basically these 3 parts. I thought the book was it was entertaining, it was a good read. I enjoyed the writing style, I enjoy being focused on one character, but then sometimes we go to Bruno's perspective and we give a little hints of what is inside his mind, of how he feels. I like how he's described on the book. When we see glimpses of his mind, we see how he is and how he has that complex of being the best, of being everything that he does, it's better than anyone else's, or never gonna be caught because it was so perfect, the ones that are stupid. And that is interesting because as we see everything unfold, we see that it can go wrong and he's not as brilliant as he thinks. Sorry for the change to be a jump and everything fall out. So I was saying, if you like a crime novel, if you like a crime noir novel, this is a perfect book for you. It's very interesting. It's not a slow burn, everything comes to unfold, and we spend a lot of time in Guy and in Guy's mind and how it affected. So if you're looking for a book that explores that downgrade and then downfall of someone who is actually good doing something bad and how he deals with it, this is a perfect book for you. I think it explores very well. If you look at Secret History review up here, we see that I talk about that, but I think this one, since it's focused on just one person and that person is your main POV, it gives you a much it gives a bigger information that in Secret History, where they have different people, everyone was dealing differently, and we have only the main perspective who is not dealing so much. It didn't have strong feelings about it, so it was very different. In this we see very much the PTSD, the stress he has, the blackmail he suffers, everything, and it's very good. Now, thank you for watching. If you don't want to watch the spoiler part, which is the murder review, but let's talk about the murder. The murder is, in terms of alibis, perfect. You're talking about killing someone that you don't have any connection, you don't have any motive, you won't be seen as a suspect. On the other hand, nowadays, we just don't kill like that, you know. I think this situation that happened on the book was like fiction, and the way it was described on the May Perfect Murders, it was he went to the dark web searching for someone with this reference, you know, for this popular website that was like a chat group that didn't collect information, you know, very safe for your identity. And he posts like, do anyone want to pull out like a strangers on the train situation? And unless you recognize the reference of what that means, that will be arranged. But then you have the two problems, which is, imagine you are dealing with someone that you don't know, and if you go first, you have to see if the person that is doing your murder is capable of, and if he will pull it off while we can. You have to plan this with him or her. You have to plan the date, so you couldn't have an alibi. You could be like traveling outside the country, you could have a conference and that it's a very different place, so you have to have alibis for that date, so you could like, yeah, but I wasn't, although I have the motive and I was the prime suspect, I was not here, I was like in Mexico, so how could I pull off? Maybe you paid someone. Yeah, but you have to have proofs for that. That's the first thing, finding someone who's willing to work with you in this way, killing one, and then you have to have the guts to kill that person who that person wants to kill. Then you have all the normal tracks. You cannot use cell phone, you cannot use credit cards, unless you have a valid explanation on why you are in that area. What I think, if you don't remain in contact, it's easy, you know, you just kill, you just go your life, you won't be searching. Even if you was the area, why would you kill that person unless you are like a serial killer? But in the problem of the novel on the guy Bruno situation was that Bruno did kill Guy's wife Miriam, but after that he starts blackmailing Guy to do the same because they were not in the same page. Guy didn't want Miriam dead. Bruno just hates women, and from that he assumes that Guy wants her killed, although, you know, one sometimes says, oh, I wish she was dead, but he took too serious and killed. Now Bruno wants Guy to kill his father because he wants to have a better life, and Guy doesn't want that because he never wanted. So that comes from the blackmailing part. You have from the situation of he's always with Guy, you know, he's going to his wedding without being invited to his house, you know, it starts to become part of the group, and that rose suspicious to the detective, because the detective was like, yeah, you still don't meet, but then you don't know each other very well, but then you start lying about the dates that you met, you know, you start to lose points that a person could grab and say, you said you met in December, but you actually met in September, so why lie about the date that you met? Bruno, you were in Guy's town while Miriam was killed, and then your father was killed. You see the situation? If Bruno had let Guy after Bruno's father being killed and not remain so much in contact, it will be easier. But being so focused and on Guy and so obsessed, it creates the spaces for the detective. Okay, this is a situation that was not, it was a private detective who was that was Bruno's father's friend, so he was very obsessed with that death. He always said it was Bruno who did it, although the police didn't believe that. So yeah, it also came for this that he has a particular interest and a particular hate for Bruno, which keep him looking for it. But yeah, that is it's the main point of this, is that he continue, but is basically this. The problem with this murder is the situation. You have to find someone who is willing to do the same as you, kill someone. You have to kill the other person. You cannot leave traces, the same as always. DNA, phone, credit card, everything. But then you cannot contact the person, You have to learn about the murder by the news. You have to prepare yourself to disclaim everything on a very secret way, on dark web maybe. Yeah, you see, it's not an easy thing to talk, because in the novel they met, one kills, the other come, and then starts blackmailing, and then starts entering his life, which was when it was a problem. But if you do it correctly, imagine you go to the dark web, you meet someone who is willing to do that, he does first, you do second, you don't talk anymore. How could you be connected? You don't have a friend's relationship. Even if in this case they met on the train and then he returned the book because he forgot the book and then we returned it. If it ended like that, he won't have a reason. But then he had a lot of phone calls to Guy's house, to Guy's mother's house. He had a lot of phone calls he went to Guy's wedding. He extended that to be strangers, to be friends, which was very weird. And it was what gave him away. Yeah, in terms of a perfect murder, I think this is not... It's close to be one of the best in terms of setting of alibi, but then you just need to... The problem here is find another person who is willing to do the same as you, not leaving a trait, not becoming obsessed with you, and doing what you want. That is the main issue here, is that you have a second person. And usually when you have a second person, it's when things starts to roll off, because you have a piece that you don't control it, so you can take everything that he does on... you cannot control every action, every what he person says, and when that happens, it's hard to pull off a murder. But I think in terms of situation, I think it's one of the best, because it's not in terms of evidence, it's one of the best. In terms of situation, it's not the hardest one. For example, that rabbit has to have a health condition, which was, you have to play with that. In here, we don't have to have a condition, you just have to find someone, a hitman almost. But the problem is always the traits that connects you to that person, or that person obsession with you. You understand? That is the point I want to make, is that a second will, it's harder to get. So guys, this was my review and discussion of The Murder for Strangers on the Train for Patricia Highsmith. Tell me in the comments if you want to read this book. I know Logan wants and Logan loves Patricia Highsmith, so I hope he read it and he likes it. Yeah, I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so I see you guys in my next video. Bye.